Blog Talk Radio.
Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. This is the 90 Degree Show brought to you by the Marching Podcast and Blog Talk Radio. I'm your official Marching Podcast announcer, David Thompson, and here's your host, the Phantom Podcaster himself, Joe Beard.
All right. Thank you very much. That's our new intro, and we hope that's working out for us pretty good. Welcome to the 90 Degree Show, brought to you by the Marching Podcast and Blog Talk Radio, as you heard from our new introduction. Thanks a lot, Cousin David. We are here to talk about Week 12 and the Magnolia Heritage Classic, Jackson State versus Alcorn, and we're going to try to also touch on the CIAA Classic and what other bands that you would like to talk about as the listener. Please call in at 718-664-6025. That's 718-664-6025. You can email the show at marchingpodcast@gmail.com or tweet us at marchingpodcast. You can go to the website at www.themarchingpodcast.com and vote on who you think won in our featured battle every week. We're bringing back our co-hosts. I think Chris Jones will be joining us soon, but I know Troy is out there. What's going on with you today, Troy?
What's going on, bro? How you doing? All is well.
Yeah, man, I'm doing pretty good. Glad to have you on the show today. Let's go ahead and knock out last week's voting on our Week 11 featured matchup. That was between North Carolina A&T and South Carolina State. Got a lot of good feedback and a lot of good talking about, who won or the battle itself. I mean, it was close. You know what I mean? It was very, very close. Even our voting was close, and I'm glad that it really showed like how close it was just talking to people. It was hard for me to decide, but with 63% of the vote, South Carolina State won on the Marching Podcast site to vote on the Week 11 matchup. So congratulations to South Carolina State, and please make sure you go to the website to go vote on our matchup each and every week. So, Troy, this week we are talking about the good old, we both were laughing before the show started. We were talking about the Capital City Classic, but it's not called that anymore. It's now the Magnolia Heritage Classic, and some people are calling it the Soul Bowl.
The Soul Bowl, that's what it was formerly known as.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So let me go ahead and just read about the schools right fast, because I'm not sure about how many people may call in, but I know Troy and I, we're going to go ahead and knock out these matchups. First, let's talk about Jackson State University. That's the school that both Troy and I attended. The motto is challenging minds and challenging lives. Established October 23rd, 1877. It's a public institution, historically black college, and running on a $12 million endowment. The president is Carolyn Myers, and Jackson State has a shade under 8,700 students, so about 8,600 some sort of students, located in Jackson, Mississippi, formerly known as the Natchez Seminary, or the later became Jackson College, then later became Jackson State College, and then now Jackson State University. So, Troy, did you get a chance to check out the battle or the halftime show from this weekend?
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of the battle, but I've seen both halftime shows. One thing I want to start off saying is that I will get an edge to the bone, but I was definitely surprised and kind of pleased that Alcorn looked, and I said looked, I didn't say nothing about the sound yet, they looked fairly decent on the field. I've seen one or two people in those front squads that weren't lifting their legs up, but for the most part, the lines were pretty straight. you know, they had pretty good execution on the field during their drill, and I was, you know, pleasantly surprised at that. Now, as we were saying before, they slur everything, and their articulation was horrible, but, you know, I give them a nod on execution on the field. You know,
okay.
The boom, you know, they brought it. You know, they looked good. They sounded good. In some places they were overblowing, but overall I still get a W to the boom by far.
And you say you give the W to the boom. Would you say the same for the halftime show and the same for the halftime show and the same for the stands?
Yes.
Okay.
I just think Alcorn, I mean, they're bigger, but they're still just overmatched in terms of quality. You know,
right.
It's not a compare. I mean, it's those small things that the boom just kills them with. You know, articulation, dynamics, phrasing. They have none of that.
Right. And that's always been the knock on Alcorn. I think we have a call. Let's go ahead and let him in. Somebody from the 601 area code. Go ahead and give us your call. And if you're listening to the radio, turn the sound down. We're getting a lot of feedback. And go ahead and give us your name and let us know what you thought.
Okay.
Hi, Carl, you still there? Okay, yeah, I guess someone else got shy, but we heard him pick up the phone because we heard the feedback in the background. But yeah, if caller, if you're out there listening, turn the volume down and then call in. You know, unfortunately, you won't be able to hear yourself, and that's to all the callers. But just go ahead and call in. Just make sure we don't get any feedback. 718-664-6025. Okay, the caller's calling back. Let's see if we can get him on here. Okay, caller, give us your name and let us know your experience.
This is Maurice Bailey calling in. How you doing, Joe?
Oh, what's going on, man? Thanks for calling in.
What's going on, Maurice?
I'm doing pretty good.
That's all right. Well, please break us down to the great Maurice. What did you think about the matchup yesterday?
I think the matchup went pretty much how we thought it was going to go. Alcorn got the shellacking beat out of them. It was pretty much, I didn't plan on going at first. I got pulled in by a couple of friends that was going down there. I said, you know what, let's just go ahead and go. The campus has changed a lot. The stadium hadn't changed much in 20 years since, what has it been, since 1992, exactly 20 years when the band and the football team and everything met down there on that campus. Basically, it was not a bad atmosphere, very good atmosphere. People were still selling tickets on the outside for like $15. You know how it is. You know how we do it.
Right.
But I will say that the atmosphere was very conducive. You had a couple of people that was getting into arguments in the stands, and a couple of fights popped off. I think the Tiger got into it with a couple of Alcorn fans. Who were probably bitter because they were losing the game so horribly. So they put a few more chairs in the stadium, what you call stadium seats. That a couple people were joking and saying they took them out of the gym and put them out here, you know, which they really didn't. I believe they did try to make a conscious effort to, to try to make up for all of the lack of seating that they were going to have. So, Joe, I can just tell you it turned out not to be as bad as some people were going to say it was. It was probably the longest band battle this year for the Boom.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm going to keep you on the line, Maurice. Let me read something right fast about Alcorn. Their motto is knowledge and character. That's the Alcorn difference. We got a feedback from somewhere. Whoever that is, turn the volume down.
I think that's Maurice.
Yeah, turn that or just mute it.
Okay,
and knowledge and character, that's the Alcorn difference. established in 1871. It is a public institution under the new president, Dr. Christopher Brown, who made a lot of news, especially when this was formerly the Capital City Classic, and changing the venue. Alcorn only has 4,391 students, and I'm not saying only as a bad thing, but just I did not know that Jackson State was almost double Alcorn in student population. That's something I didn't know. And located in Lorman, Mississippi, and colors purple and gold. I saw some tape. They have the halftime show out on the web now, and then I saw a little bit of the stands battle. I have to say that Jackson State looks just outstanding on the drill. Like, they look really, really good, really, really precise, and the drills that they're doing are difficult. Like, they're not easy drills. And I was really, really impressed by that. I'll hold my analysis. It looks like someone's calling in from the 215 area code. Caller, go ahead and give us your name and tell us your Week 12 experience.
This is Vibrant. I was just calling in, listen pretty much. Didn't really have a really big experience. I did look at the Jackson State performance against Alcorn. It looked pretty good, but I was just really just calling to listen in.
Okay, well, yeah, we usually call in, Vibrant, man. You know, we can you definitely hold you on the line. I think this may be Chris Jones.
The house. What's up, man?
Caller, is that you, Chris Jones?
This is Chris Jones, man.
Oh, okay. What's going on, Chris Jones?
Ain't nothing but the rent, baby. What's happening with you, man?
Yeah, man. We got the whole gang in the studio now. Viber, what else did you say that you checked out the matchup for this weekend?
Well, yeah, I actually only thing I saw was the Jackson State performance. Didn't get a chance to look at Alcorn's performance, but Jackson State sounded real good, looked real good. You can tell that they are, it's getting to be the last game of the regular season. They're just grooving right now. They're into doing what they do best. Sounded real good. Field show looked good. Didn't really have any complaints as far as their show.
Well, that's what's up. Chris Jones, did you get a chance to check out the show?
And I did. I enjoyed Jackson State's show, but I just have to commend, and I'm just being honest about it, Mr. Murray and the Sounds of Dynamite. Man, they have come a long way, and I mean, really. Now the drum majors suck. I'm just being honest. You know me. I gotta be.
Yes, they do.
But the band as a whole, the sound, they got a good sound, precision on the drill. The drill is, man, they're drilling on the level now. I mean, you don't see the potholes. You don't see people missing the line. You don't see, missteps and, somebody not stepping off on the step too correctly. I noticed a lot of things. I noticed the energy, too, of Alcorn. And their sound has really come, did a 360 from a couple of years back, It really, instrumentation-wise, they've gotten really strong as far as tubas. I'm impressed with the tuba section. I had to give them that. I really don't like the drum section all that great. I mean, they are high.
I was just gonna say about my analysis about the drum. It sounds like their equipment is not tight enough or something. I'm not sure. I'm not a percussion expert.
I don't like the way their snare sound. It sounds like they're playing on paper.
It's just all exactly. It's a lot of muddleness. I did want to throw something out at you guys because I guess we all agree about Alcorn taking the L. For me, it was definitely the difference in the drill. Troy was talking about difference in like phrasing, like attacks and releases. Alcorn traditionally doesn't have that. Definitely more recent. Chris bring up a good point to say that Alcorn isn't as slaw, I guess, as they normally are, but they're coming along. But I did want to throw something out at y'all. I was watching the fifth quarter, and I've kind of noticed this a little bit in the Grambling game about Jackson State and some other things, but the Boom seems to be falling in love with the loud, blaring, Alabama State-ish, SU type of sound. listening to some of the songs that Jackson State played, the funk is there, the sound is there, but it's starting to be a little pressing. Maurice, do you think that the boom is losing a little bit of the accuracy?
Not so much as accuracy. What I will say is this: I have to disagree with you when I say Alabama State-ish, because Alabama State sound, I'm sure Chris can agree with me, even from back in the 90s, they used to be so horrible.
Right.
The argument
I will, Maurice. You know I will, baby.
They say that these bands are having what you call a southernized sound, and when people say that, they basically mean that people, the people in the sections, are starting to all blow and not think about musicality and not thinking about tone quality, things of that nature.
Right.
What has simply happened is that the mindset of the band has changed with the generational pull, and what I mean by that is that now this particular generation keeps that mindset of I have to blow a certain way and have to be just as loud. And one thing I want to say is I believe that Dow Taylor did an excellent job in coming in and telling those young folks that he was going to be out there on that field 85%, and the other percentage they were going to be in the band hall. His thing was, let's clean up this field show, and then we'll get the music down pat. And I think it worked perfectly, because with the new staff coming in and really, really trying to round that sound off a little bit, it kind of did better. They had a better tuning this year. They had better cutoffs. You can tell that the discipline was much better. Jackson State just did a better job all around than they did in the Murray years. And that's not to take away from Murray. It's just to say that I think Dr. Murray's in the perfect place. And I agree with Chris. They do that. That is one of the best Alcorn sounds in their history. All right? Dr. Murray's doing a perfect job with his alma mater.
I agree with you, Maurice.
What do you think about that, Troy? Do you think? I mean, you basically agree with Maurice?
Pretty much, I do. I think he's right on with everything. I think that the mindset has changed a lot. I think, if I had to give Jackson State two areas in which they improved more than anything this year, it would be drilling and releases. Those last notes. I don't hear the hangovers and I don't hear that anymore. And those are the two areas I think that they cleaned up the most of the entire band program.
Come on, Chung Funk.
And,
it's definitely that attention to detail. I definitely notice it myself. I guess like you say, I guess it's maybe the more of the kids that are there, or the changing of philosophy, because like when you notice one thing about some bands, and I've looked at them all this year, some bands get hype, and then you hear the upper brass take it up, and some bands are just powerful throughout the whole song. Jackson State was just powerful, and there was just no relax on the upper register. I mean, the funk was just coming with it every song, and I was like, wow, like, is this good? Because, your schools like A&T, your North Carolina Central, they do a whole lot more with dynamics just because they don't have that level of power that Jackson State does. Yeah, I was just wanting to know what you guys thought about that. Last thing about this game I wanted to throw in there, they didn't play blowing out on the field.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
What did you guys feel about that? And I want
to comment on that, which I think was perfect. Back in the 80s when Dow Taylor was there, one of the original fanfare songs for Jackson State is Three Stereophonic.
Yeah, Three Stereophonics, correct.
I think they sounded excellent on the field playing it. And the drum majors got a chance to actually do the Three Stereophonic mace routine, Chris, that goes with the particular song on the field.
Correct. You remember that used to be our audition piece.
Exactly. And still is today.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that.
They did play blowing in the fifth quarter.
Joe, I gotta say something, man. I gotta say one thing, man. And I'm glad all of y'all are in the listening. All y'all are Trung Funk. The trumpet section is not the same, and I'm gonna come with it. Yeah, I'm gonna stick my finger right up in the air and point it up and say yes, they are not the same. they're getting overpowered by the trombones and B-tones. They're getting overpowered, man. I mean, they're not as strong as they used to be, man. When y'all in the section, and I'm putting it out there. I just got to be that person. When y'all were in the section, Trump funk ruled. Y'all had that power. Y'all had the color. You had the energy. You had the people that could scream. You had the people that just could play through the whole song in the upper register. Now you got these cats just waiting on those and all that stuff. Yeah, and that's all well and good, man. But they don't sound. They don't have that power like I'm used to. And then they got that fifth quarter power. You know, they standing and playing, but marching sometimes they go faint on me. And I'm just being real about it, man. I mean, I gotta say what is, man. Trunk funk is not the same as Jackson State.
Are you saying that the trumpet sound is not the same consistently, or are you talking about
the same consistently? Not like it used to be back in our day, back in your days, back in Maurice's days. I mean, seriously, it's not the same. I've seen it, I've heard it. Cats from other schools
what you think
talk to
about
me
that,
about it. You know, I was talking to a cat from the SU. You know, and we talk biased about our situation.
Chris Jones, hold up, Chris Jones. Viber, what do you think about that?
About what he just said, I'm sure it's a lot of things that you can contribute to that. I think Maurice would probably be a better person to comment on that since he's probably more connected to the section than I am. But you got to look at during that time, you know, what was the instrumentation at that time, and what was the thought process went into the way that we played versus what it is now. I mean, you got different people, you got. You know, it's the way that the songs are written now. I mean, it could be a lot of things. I mean, I never really thought about it like that though.
Yeah, we should definitely probably get into that in a later day because I don't know, Chris Jones. I don't agree. I just think that it's too much power. I think honestly the baby that our years created and like the Maurices and the Sean Kemps. Like, it created somewhat of a monster. And that's kind of like my thought about the fifth quarter is just that I'm missing some of the dynamics. And, like, we don't have to be in the upper register the entire song. I mean, the funk, I'm not really complaining about it, but they are cranking, like, you know what, the whole song. And it's just like, wow, like, that's good. But at the same time, I would like to see more range from the funk. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Right quick, did you guys check out any other Week 12 matchups? I know I was looking at the CIAA Championship from a couple weekends ago myself. Troy, do you know about any other matchups you were thinking about this week?
The only thing that I was kind of concerned with this week was the lack of a matchup at the Florida Classic. That was sad. You know, sad, yeah, pitiful.
Hey, Joe, I know this is not, I mean, it's on the subject, but it's off the subject. Last week, you know, I was at the National High Stepping Competition for high schools, right? I'd just like to say, you know, I created the #1 drum major in the nation. She won all her awards, and she was the #1 drum major in the nation. As far as, we talking about Whitehaven, we talking about Southwest Cal, we talking about all of them.
What school did she go? What was her name and what's her school?
Harding High School, baby. Harding High School University. Okay. And we call her the boss lady. She's a bad girl, man. I just want to give her props. But I did check out some other stuff. You know, I checked out some other bands. I checked out A&T. You know, I checked out South Carolina State. I have to give South Carolina State their props. I have to give them their props this year, even though they are the AKA Morris Brown in Burgundy. But they've come a long way. They're trying to get that flavor back. I checked out A&T. You know, A&T, my nephew went and checked out.
What game, Chris Jones, hold on. Well, what game, so South Carolina State played Savannah State. You saw that game?
Yeah, I saw that game, but I also saw A&T this past week, too.
Okay, okay. Did A&T play? I didn't know. What did A&T play?
I just saw them I just saw their halftime show. That's all I saw.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 'cause we definitely thought that SC State and A&T were coming with it. I saw a little bit of the South Carolina State, Savannah State, and I mean, I guess I guess I'm just a fan of some of the smaller bands. I like Savannah State, but they're not competing per se with the South Carolina States of the world. But I didn't get a chance to see the halftime show, and to me, that's kind of where you can get people. Right. In '97, I'm sure all of us remember in '97 Howard came to Jackson, and of course, I mean, scared to even sit over like directly in front of us, but they came with a really good halftime show. So that's something like we definitely have to pin. I want all you guys to come back and just let the listeners know we're going to have a year-end review of all the bands, and we're going to try to give out awards of who we thought was, the best marchers or the best sound. I guess to also piggyback also on what Troy was talking about in the Florida Classic, I guess Bethune-Cookman, was playing by themselves, but we all agree how good Bethune
had
is.
They dance committee out there.
Oh, yeah.
They had dancers. That's sad,
Did
bro.
they have
dancers?
The Florida A&M dancers?
The Florida A&M dancers.
Yep.
That's sad, man. Oh, my gosh, bro.
It's sad.
Sad, bro.
It is.
Florida
Yeah,
A&M
I didn't know that. I just know a lot of people were going. It's hate to even think about FAM, man. I try to stay away from that all year. But, okay, we're getting towards the end. Right quick, Maurice, I'll give you guys a little bit to say each one. The SWAC Championship is going to be coming up. I think Jackson State plays UAPB. We got the Bayou Classic coming up, Grambling Southern. That'll probably be better of a football matchup than a band one. And I think those are the two major ones. Oh, and the Turkey Classic, was it Tuskegee and somebody, I think?
Alabama State.
Okay, Alabama. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that may be
That's
Alabama
their homecoming, too.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. It's actually Alabama State's first game in their new stadium, so.
Yeah.
That's the first game in the new stadium?
Right,
yep.
right.
Thanksgiving.
Okay, well, yeah, I appreciate the insight. Y'all go ahead. I'm going to send it to each one of you before we head out. Maurice, I guess overall, what do you think about the end of the year? I'm going to end it with a SWAC question. What do you think about the SWAC performance this year?
I think the SWAC did pretty good. Most of the bands, and I've seen most of them this year, they did a pretty good job. It's obvious the band programs have got pretty good leadership. They're getting better. Even the bands that have been complete and utter slaw in the past have come up. It's starting to sound better. And, like I said before, I think bands do better when they have their own alums over them. I think Alcorn is, I'm serious. I think Dr. Murray is doing an excellent job with his alma mater. I told him on the field yesterday when I was there. I have it on video and everything because I do feel that. So I'm going to be going to the Bayou Classic to go see that, even though you said it might not be too much of a good band battle. And I'll be at the SWAC Championship also. So I'll be able to make a better assessment whenever we end.
Okay. Right quick, Troy, what do you think about we got 60 seconds, Troy. What do you think about the Jackson State's year so far?
I think they had a good year. I think it was a lot of doubters. I think Dow Taylor did exactly what he said he was going to do, came in, cleaned up the field shows, put a better product on the field week after week. They progressed throughout the year, and I think it was evident this past week that they have reached their goal this year.
That's cool. What do you think, Viber? What do you think about Jackson State's year?
Just the same thing Troy said. Like you said, we had a lot of doubters. People just wondering what was gonna happen. How the sound was gonna be. Was he gonna make a lot of changes? And I think at the end of the day, I think he did a pretty good job. And it's self-explanatory by what we saw yesterday.
Chris Jones, what you think, man?
Well, I have to give kudos to the SWAC, but I got to give. I got some dark horse bands that really stood out to me this year. Edward Waters, man, impressive sound. Talladega College, first year, awesome program that's going to come up out of the ranks. Livingstone College, yeah, I got to give them that.
All right, we got to wrap up the show, man. So
wrap it up, baby. Wrap it up.
Time. So we really appreciate you listening for Week 12, and we'll see you next week on the 90 Degree Show.